Ladies and gentlemen, the time is now 10 o'clock in the morning. So good morning. May we have the national item, please. On Zoom as well as YouTube. Will the registrar kindly confirm that quorum has been formed?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, directors and esteemed shareholders. My name is Mary Adeleye and I represent Coronation Registrars Limited, the registrars to Aradel Holdings Plc. Please note that at the start of this meeting, we have 213 shareholders joining virtually and received 713 proxies with a total of 1,537,040,608 shareholdings representing 35.37% of the issued and fully paid shares of the company. With this information, we hereby confirm that a quorum has been formed in accordance with the above stated section 256 subsection 2 of CAMA. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And I have the pleasure of welcoming you to our company's 31st annual general meeting, and I hereby declare this meeting duly convened. May we also have an opening prayer. Mr. Adesanya, please.
Yeah, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this gathering and we ask that you direct and guide our proceedings and that at the end of the day we have cause to thank you. We pray in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Something missing here. There's something missing. It's okay. Come back. My name is Austin Olarunshola, the chairman of our company, and I'll call on other directors, the company secretary, the chairman of the statutory audit committee, the external auditors, and the representatives of the regulatory bodies to introduce themselves.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and esteemed shareholders. My name is Adegbite Falade, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of our company.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and esteemed shareholders. My name is Adegbola Adeshina, and I am the Chief Finance Officer of our company.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and esteemed shareholders. My name is Afolabi Oladile. I'm a non-executive director of our company.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and esteemed shareholders. My name is Olubenga Adetoro, and I'm a non-executive director of our company.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and esteemed shareholders. My name is Karen Gunter, and I'm a non-executive director of our company, representing Petrol & Ocean Limited.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and esteemed shareholders. My name is Patricia Simon Hart, and I'm an independent, non-executive director of our company.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and esteemed shareholders. My name is Mahmoud Tukur, and I'm an independent, non-executive director of our company. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and esteemed shareholders. My name is Olushola Adeyo, and I am a non-executive director of our company.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and esteemed shareholders. My name is Noli Akpedeye, and I'm an independent, non-executive director of our company.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and esteemed shareholders. My name is Titi Umishere, and I'm the secretary to our company.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and esteemed shareholders. My name is Olufemi Akinsanya, and I am the chairman of the Statutory Audit Committee.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and esteemed shareholders. My name is Edie Fekoha, and I'm a member of the Statutory Audit Committee representing shareholders.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and esteemed shareholders. My name is Akingbola Akiola, a member of the Statutory Audit Committee representing shareholders.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and esteemed shareholders. My name is Abraham Udenani, and I'm here with my colleague Ayodeji Ojo, representing Deloitte & Touche, the external auditors of your company.
Amina, you are muted.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Amina Tunko, and I'm with the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, esteemed shareholders. My name is Brenda D, representing NGX Regulation.
Thank you all, and I'll call on the secretary to the company to read the notice convening this meeting. Titi.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. (2026) at 10 a.m. to transact the following business. Ordinary business. To lay before the members of the company the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2025 and the reports of the directors, auditors, and the audit committee thereon. To declare a final dividend as recommended by the board of directors of the company in respect of the financial year ended 31st December 2025. To re-elect directors retiring by rotation, said directors being Mr. Augustine Olorunshola, our esteemed chairman, Mr. Adigbite Falade, our esteemed CEO, Mr. Adegbola Adeshino, our esteemed CFO, and Ms. Karen Gunther, our esteemed non-executive director. To ratify the appointment of the following directors: Mr. Olushola Adeyo as a non-executive director, Mr. George Osahan as a non-executive director, Mr. Mahmood Tuku as an independent non-executive director, and Engineer Noli Akpede as an independent non-executive director. To appoint a new independent auditor to replace the retiring audit firm of Deloitte & Touche. Notice is hereby given that the proposed independent auditor to be appointed is KPMG Professional Services. To authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the external auditors. And lastly, to elect or re-elect, as the case may be, members of the Statutory Audit Committee. Special business. To approve the severance benefits for non-executive directors retiring from the board of the company. Notes. Attendance and e-voting. By virtue of the provisions of Section 240, subsection 2 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, as amended by the provisions of Section 11, Schedule 1 of the Business Facilitation Miscellaneous Provisions Act of 2022, the AGM will hold electronically via a virtual platform. Attendance at the meeting can be virtual or by proxy. Voting at the meeting will be done either by choosing from the proxies listed below or through an e-voting method during the meeting by using the Coronation virtual platform. To vote electronically, shareholders whose email addresses are in the registrar's database will receive an email containing a unique link and a passcode from Coronation registrars 24 hours before the meeting. Specifically by or before 10 a.m. on Wednesday, 29th of July 2026. These shareholders should click on the link to access the meeting through the Coronation virtual platform. Shareholders whose email addresses are currently not in the registrar's database should use this link: crlselfservice.coronation.ng to update the information before the close of business on 28th July 2026. Only shareholders who access the Coronation virtual platform can vote via the e-voting system. The process for e-voting will be announced by the registrars during the meeting. Proxy. Members who are entitled to attend and vote at the AGM of the company are entitled to select a proxy to attend and vote on their behalf, and such proxy need not be a member of the company. To be valid for the AGM, a duly completed proxy form must have been received in the office of the registrars, Coronation Registrars Limited, or sent by email to eforms@coronationregistrars.com or 31st stagmproxy@aradel.com, not less than 48 hours before the time fixed for the meeting. The following are a list of proposed proxies, out of which a member may select a person to attend the meeting on his behalf. However, the preferred choice should be indicated in the proxy form. 1. Mr. Olorunshola, Chairman of the Board of Directors. 2. Mr. Adegbite Falade, Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of the company. Ms. Titilola Omishore, Company Secretary and General Counsel. And Mr. Femi Akinsoya, Chairman of the Statutory Audit Committee. Any members who wish to appoint a proxy other than those proposed above is at liberty to do so. Live streaming of the AGM. The AGM will be streamed live. The link for the streaming will be made available on the company's website at www.aradel.com and recirculated by the registrars to the shareholders a day before the meeting. Closure of register. The register of members will be closed at the close of business on Friday, 10th July 2026 to enable the registrars to prepare for payment of dividends. Dividend. If the dividend recommended by the board is approved, shareholders whose names appear in the register of members as at the close of business on Thursday, the 9th of July 2026, and have mandated their accounts to the registrars will receive a direct credit of their dividends into their respective bank accounts on the date of the AGM. Nomination for Statutory Audit Committee. In accordance with Section 404(6) of the Companies and Allied Matters Act of 2020, any member may nominate a shareholder as a member of the Statutory Audit Committee by giving notice in writing of such nomination to the Company Secretary at least 21 days before the scheduled annual general meeting. Unclaimed dividends. All shareholders are hereby informed that the registrars of the company are holding dividend warrants which have been returned as unclaimed. Some dividend warrants sent to shareholders' addresses are yet to be presented for payment or returned to the registrars of the company for validation. Shareholders with unclaimed dividends are advised to revalidate their unclaimed dividend warrants either by visiting or by writing to the registrars whose registered address is 9 Amadu Ojukutu Street, Victoria Island, Lagos, or by sending an email to customercare@coronationregistrars.com. E-dividend. All shareholders are encouraged to complete the e-dividend mandate form if they haven't done so already, to ensure that all outstanding dividends are paid electronically. The aforementioned form can be downloaded from the annual report available on the company's website at www.aradel.com/investors/reports/ and the completed form should be delivered to the registrar's registered office address or by email to customercare@coronationregistrars.com. Alternatively, please click this link, crlselfservice.coronation.ng, to complete the e-dividend mandate form online. Directors retiring by rotation. In accordance with the provisions of the company's Articles of Association, Mr. Olorunshola, Mr. Falade, Mr. Adeshino, and Ms. Gunter will be retiring by rotation, and being eligible, each has offered him or herself up for re-election. Ratification of directors' appointment. The members are hereby put on notice that two of the directors whose appointments are to be ratified, being Mr. Olushola Adeyo and Mr. George Osahan, are over 70 years of age. The other director on the board who is over 70 years of age is Mr. Afolabi Oladele. Severance benefits for non-executive directors. The members are being asked to approve the board recommendation on severance benefits payable to the non-executive directors of the company, inclusive of non-executive directors who retired during the 2025 calendar year as shown below. The chairman, the annual fee applicable multiplied by the number of years served on the board. Annual medical insurance cover for a maximum period of 5 years. For other directors, the annual fee applicable for the year multiplied by the number of years served on the board. And again, annual medical insurance cover for a maximum period of 5 years. Right of shareholders to ask questions. Shareholders have the right to ask questions and have been required to submit said questions in writing prior to the meeting. Such questions should have been addressed to the company secretary and submitted to the registered office of the company at number 15 Babatunde Joseph Street, Victoria Island, Lagos, or via email at 31stag.mquestions@aradel.com. Annual report and accounts. An electronic version, e-copy, of the 2025 annual report and accounts is available online for viewing and downloading on the company's website at www.aradel.com and at the registrar's website www.coronation.ng/institutional/about-us/registrars. Shareholders who have updated their records with their email addresses will have received the e-copy of the document. This notice and the notes attached thereto were by order of the board and signed by myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Voting on items on the agenda at this meeting will be by poll, except for statutory audit committee election, which will be by electronic count. The chairman's statement and that of the managing director, CEO, are contained on pages 18 to 20 and 25 to 29 respectively of the annual report and accounts. As the managing director, CEO will be making a presentation to the members, and having circulated the annual report and accounts earlier to all shareholders, may I crave your indulgence that we take both statements as read. Are there any objections to this proposal? So no? Thank you. I would now like to formally lay before this meeting the company's audited and consolidated financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2025, together with the reports of the directors, auditors, and audit committee thereon. Auditors report. The next item on the agenda is the report of the external auditors on the company's financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2025. May I invite the representative of Deloitte & Touche to present their report. Deloitte.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished shareholders, independent auditors report to the shareholder of Aradel Holdings PLC on the audit of the consolidated and separate financial statements. Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I would like to read the first two paragraphs and the last two paragraphs of the opinion. Thank you. We have audited the financial statement we have audited consolidated and separate financial statement of Aradel Holding PLC and its subsidiaries, the group and the company set out on page 100 to 155. I'm actually reading from page 96 of the annual report, which comprise the consolidated and separate statement of financial position as at 31st December 2025, and the consolidated and separate statement of profits or loss and other comprehensive income, the consolidated and separate statement of changes in equity, and the consolidated and separate statement of cash flows for the year then ended. The note to the consolidated and separate financial statement, including material accounting policy information. In our opinion, the consolidated and separate financial statement give a true and fair view of consolidated and separate financial statement of Aradel Holding PLC as at 31st December 2025, and its consolidated and separate financial performance and consolidated and separate cash flow for the year then ended in accordance with IFRS accounting standard as issued by the International Accounting Standard Board, the requirements of the Companies and Allied Matter Act 2020, and the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act 2023. Mr. Chairman, distinguished shareholders, please let's move to page 99. I will start my reading from the reports on other legal and regulatory requirements. In accordance with 5th Schedule of Companies and Allied Matter Act, we expressly state that 1. We have obtained all the information and explanation which to the best of our knowledge and believe were necessary for the purpose of our audit. 2. The group and the company have kept proper books of accounts so far as appears from our examination of those books. 3. The consolidated and separate statement of financial position and the consolidated and separate statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive become in agreement with the books of accounts and return. Mr. Chairman and distinguished shareholders, it's also important to know that in accordance with the of the consolidated and separate financial statement, this opinion was signed by me on the 19th June 2026 on behalf of Deloitte and Touche. Thank you, distinguished shareholders and Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Ayodeji Ojo. Now may I invite the chairman of the Statutory Audit Committee, Mr. Femi Akinsanya, to present the committee's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Report of the Audit Committee to members of Aradel Holdings PLC. In accordance with the statutory requirement of provisions of Section 404, subsection 7 of Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, we, the members of the Audit Committee of Aradel Holdings PLC, having carried out our statutory functions under the Act, hereby confirm that the accounting and reporting policies of the group and company are in accordance with legal requirements and agreed ethical practices. In our opinion, the accounting and reporting policies of Aradel Holdings PLC, as contained in the group and company's audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2025, are in accordance with the relevant financial reporting framework and agreed ethical practices. 2. The scope and planning of the audit for the year ended 31st December 2025 were adequate. 3. The external auditor's findings on management matters and management's responses thereto were satisfactory. 4. We have kept under review the effectiveness of the group and company's system of accounting and internal controls. In our opinion, the scope and planning of the audit for the year ended 31st December 2025 together with the consolidated and separate audited financial statements, were satisfactory. The external auditors had discharged their duties conscientiously and satisfactorily. We were satisfied with management's responses to the auditor's findings. Signed by me on 19th June 2026. Members of the audit committee during the year were myself as chair, Mr. Edi Efekoha, shareholders representative, Mr. Afolabi Oladele, board representative, Chief Bola Akinola, shareholders representative, and Mr. Ede Osayode, board representative. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Akinsanya. The audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2025 commences from page 100 of the annual report. And the reports of the directors, the auditors, and the statutory audit committee have now been presented to you all. At this point, I would like to invite the CEO, Mr. Adegbite Falade, to make a brief presentation about our company. Bite.
Esteemed shareholders of Aradel Holdings PLC, the chairman and members of the board of directors, the chairman and members of the statutory audit committee, regulators present, representatives of the registrar, coronation registrars, representatives of the external auditor, Deloitte and Touche, management and staff, members of the fourth realm of the estate, the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good morning and a warm welcome to the 31st Annual General Meeting of Aradel Holdings PLC, being held today by electronic means. I want to thank each of you for joining us on this virtual platform from wherever you are. And I want to thank our company secretariat and technical partners for the work that has gone into making this virtual format seamless and accessible to all our shareholders. It is both a privilege and an honor to address you today, not only to present the group's performance for the year ended 31st December 2025, but to mark 31 years since this company, our company, first convened before its shareholders. That milestone is worth pausing on. Few indigenous Nigerian energy companies can claim 3 decades or more of continuous existence, and still fewer can claim to have used those decades to grow from a modest beginning into the integrated, diversified, and increasingly formidable energy group that we represent today. I'm grateful to our board, to my colleagues across the group, and most of all, to you, our shareholders, for your continued trust as we have built this institution together. Today, I will provide a brief summary of our operational and financial performance during the period, and also provide a perspective on where we are year-to-date 2026. And in the same vein, also share a brief outlook on what we can expect for the rest of the year and beyond. In terms of operating environment, 2025 was by every and any measure a defining year for our company, Aradel. And it unfolded against a global energy landscape shaped by persistent geopolitical tensions, demand uncertainties, and shifting OPEC production policy. The Nigerian energy sector also continued its own transformation. The Petroleum Industry Act continues to mature into practical effect, indigenous operators continue to expand their footprint as international players rebalance their Nigerian portfolios, and the domestic gas and refining landscape continue to open new opportunities for companies with the balance sheet and the operational discipline to seize them. I'm proud to say that Aradel met this moment. Where others saw disruption, we saw an opportunity to consolidate, an opportunity to grow, and to strengthen our position as Nigeria's leading indigenous integrated energy company. Let me begin with the numbers, because they tell a clear story of a business executing on its strategy. For the year ended 31st December 2025, Aradel Holdings delivered revenue of 699 billion naira, an increase of 20% over the 581 billion recorded in 2024. Profit before tax grew to 835 billion, up 163.6% year-on-year, while profit after tax rose to 757 billion, a 192% increase on the prior year's 259 billion naira. Earnings per share rose accordingly from 59 naira 35 kobo to 173 naira 62 kobo. Our balance sheet also transformed just as dramatically, as total assets grew from 1.75 trillion naira to 9.9 trillion naira, and the return on equity rose from 19% to a massive 51%. A significant part of this growth reflects the scale of the strategic acquisitions we completed during the year, which I will come to shortly. I believe that scale, prudently acquired and well integrated, is exactly the kind of growth that will position this group for its next phase. Our underlying operating businesses in oil, in gas, and in refining also delivered meaningful growth. In recognition of this performance and consistent with our commitment to shareholder value, your board declared an interim dividend of 10 naira per share during the year and is now proposing a final dividend of 23 naira per share, representing a total cash dividend of 33 naira per share and a total payout of 143 billion naira for the year 2025 that just ended. This reflects both the strength of our results and our determination that Aradel's growth should translate into direct value for the shareholders who have backed us. During the period under review, crude oil production totaled at 5.2 million barrels, with peak production reaching an unprecedented 18,234 barrels per day. Gas production rose to 18.8 billion scf, a 59% increase over 2024 performance, with a record peak gas production rate of 83.3 million scf per day. Refinery production also increased significantly in 2025, with output rising 18% to 313.4 million liters, compared to the 264.9 million liters recorded in 2024. I'm especially proud to note that through 2025, we marked 20 consecutive years of uninterrupted operation at Ogbele, a record that speaks to the discipline, the safety culture, and the sheer operational excellence of the men and women who run our fields and operations every single day. In my mind, 2025 will be remembered as the year that Aradel fundamentally reset the scale of this group. We completed 2 landmark transactions that I want to highlight specifically. First, together with our partners and our co-investors in the Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited, we successfully completed the acquisition of 100% of the equity interests in Shell Petroleum Development Company of Nigeria. At the time of the acquisition, Aradel Holdings held a combined direct and indirect holding of 33.3% of effective equity interest in Renaissance. This comprised a direct interest of 12.5% and an indirectly held interest of 20.8% held through ND Western Limited. Second, on the 31st of December 2025, we completed the acquisition of an additional 40% equity interest in ND Western Limited, increasing Aradel's total ownership from 41.67% to 81.67% of ND Western. And in the process, ND Western effectively changed status from an associate of Aradel into a fully consolidated subsidiary of this group. This transaction, in turn, increased our effective indirectly held interest and direct held interest in Renaissance to 53.3%, making Aradel the majority shareholder of the company. The composition of the board has evolved in line with our ongoing commitment to maintaining an appropriate balance of skills, experience, independence, and diversity in support of the company's strategy. We welcomed 3 non-executive directors and 2 independent non-executive directors in the period under review to date. We recorded a defining safety milestone of 10.2 million LTI man-free hours during the period and attained 2 new internationally recognized certifications, being ISO 9001 2015 edition for the quality management system and ISO 45001 2018 edition for occupational health and safety management systems. Additionally, 2025 marked our first full year as a publicly listed company on the Nigerian exchange, following a landmark listing in October 2024. The increased transparency, the market visibility, and governance discipline that comes with that status has, if anything, sharpened our execution and broadened the base of shareholders who now share in this journey with us. As we look ahead to the future, Aradel Holdings stands at the threshold of a transformative new chapter. Our Q1 2026 results mark an important milestone, the first full quarter in which the earnings and the cash flows of our enlarged group are reflected in our financial statements, following the consolidation of ND Western as a subsidiary and a resulting majority interest in Renaissance. We achieved an average daily crude oil production of 56,510 barrels of oil per day and gas production of 507 million scf per day. Revenue has consequently grown by 265% in the quarter to 728.5 billion naira, and we've had similar dimensions of growth in our tax numbers. This demonstrates the strength of our diversified portfolio across oil, gas, refining, and the immediate benefits of our expanded asset base. Our priorities for the future are clear. We will continue to focus on safety and efficiently integrating our new assets, maximizing production from our expanded portfolio, and accelerating gas monetization. We will continue to invest in our people, in our communities, and our operational infrastructure to ensure that the foundations of our business remains as strong as the ambitions we have set for it. In operational terms, we are targeting continued growth in our reserves and production, and with overall output guidance of between 110,000 to 140,000 barrels of oil equivalent per day in 2026 and improved refinery utilization rates. We remain committed as always to the highest standards of corporate governance, to the safety of our people and of our host communities, and to playing our part in Nigeria's energy security and energy transition in equal measures. In closing, may I close where I started from. 31 years is a long time in any industry, and longer still in ours. That Aradel stands here today, larger, stronger, and more diversified than ever before, is the work of many hands. The founders who set us on this course, and the successive teams who continue to hold our standards every day. To the board who continues to provide the strategic oversight of the daily operations of this company, and to you, our shareholders, whose confidence has never wavered. On behalf of the board, staff and management of Aradel Holdings PLC, I'd like to thank you for your partnership. Certainly, the next chapter is one that I look forward to writing with you. As always, please permit me to put on record our special appreciation to you all, our shareholders, on whose behalf we continue to pilot the affairs of our great company, the chairman and the entire board of directors for their constant guidance and strategic leadership, management and staff of Aradel Holdings PLC for their unflinching dedication and professionalism, our host communities who continue to show us tremendous goodwill and the solid support that has enabled us to thrive, the regulators of our operations and activities for their faith and support that continues to enable us to deliver, our business partners, our suppliers, our vendors, our contractors, our service providers, and many others. Your support has been most invaluable. Last and most importantly, to God, who continues to keep us safe and who continues to bless us with good health and sound mind. We look forward to the next edition of the annual general meeting of shareholders in 2027. Until then, we continue to count on your support. See you at the next year's AGM by God's grace. God bless Aradel Holdings PLC. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Falade. Thank you so much. The company had requested that shareholders submit their questions to the company's address at number 15, Babatunde Jose Street, Victoria Island, Lagos, or by email to 31stagmquestions@aradel.com, not later than 1 week to the annual general meeting, so that the company secretary could collate them. The questions received will be read out and answered now. Can I invite the company secretary to read out the questions received? Thank you, Tito.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman and esteemed shareholders, only one shareholder, Barrister Adetutu Shinyobola, the President of Highly Favored Shareholders Association, submitted a series of observations, comments, suggestions, and questions with respect to the company's 2025 annual report and accounts. I will now read those comments, observations, suggestions, and questions out loud on her behalf. On page 19, board changes and appointments. In the chairman's statement, she observed that Mr. Ladi Jadesimi the outgone chairman retired from the board after 14 years of distinguished service, and Mr. Ede Osayade, one of the non-executive directors, also retired after 11 years of dedicated service, both on the 28th of May 2025. She's taking this opportunity to thank them for their meritorious service to the company, and she wishes them the very best in their present and future endeavors. To fill the vacuum created by their exit, the board appointed Ms. Karen Jane Gunter as a non-executive director on the 2nd of January 2025, while Mr. Olushola Adeyo and Mr. George Osahan were appointed as non-executive directors, and Mr. Mahmoud Tuku was appointed as an independent non-executive director, all on the 25th of July 2025. She seizes this opportunity to congratulate them and wish them a fruitful tenure in office. Secondly, on page 63 to 66 of the annual report and accounts, the beautiful faces and profile of the board of directors, she observed that the company only has 3 ladies in the board out of 11 directors, which amounts to 27%. She expresses her belief that this is unacceptable on gender balancing and urges the company to improve upon this going forward. Thirdly, from page 67 to 70, the beautiful faces and profile of the executive management. She observed that there are only 3 ladies in a management team of 12 members, which amounts to 25%. She expresses the view that this is unacceptable on gender balancing and urges the company to improve upon it going forward. Item 4, on page 74 and 75, attendance at board meetings and board committee meetings. She observed that attendance is good but can be excellent, and urges the directors to improve their attendance going forward. Item 5 on page 81, results for the year. Limiting herself to the group performance, she observed that revenue grew from 581.2 billion to 699.4 billion in the year under review. Profit before tax grew from 316.8 billion to 835 billion in the year under review. Profit after tax grew from 259.1 billion to 757.3 billion in the year under review. Going through the indices above, she observed an impressive performance in the year under review. She is seizing this opportunity to give kudos to the board and management team for a job well done and imploring them to do even more. 6. On page 81, item 4, she observed that the board has recommended a final dividend of 23 naira per share, in addition to the 10 naira earlier paid as interim dividend, making this a total dividend payout of 33 naira per share in the year under review, compared to the 30 naira per share in the previous year. This is commendable, and she urges the directors and management to keep it up. On page 82, directors' interests in shares. She observed that only 5 directors out of 10 listed have Aradel shares attached to their names in the year under review, and she would like to know why. She observed that only 5 out of the directors are owners of Aradel shares, and she would like to know why this is. On page 101 of the Consolidated and Separate Statements of Financial Position, again limiting herself to the group position. She observed that trade and other receivables under current assets went up from 68.8 billion to 1.7 trillion in the year under review. She would like to know what modalities are in place for collecting this debt from our customers so that it will not end up as a bad debt that would be written off. Trade, share-based payments, and other payables under current liabilities went up from 120.9 billion to 2.4 trillion in the year under review. She would like to know how the company intends to repay its creditors. Last item, she would like to seize this opportunity to appreciate the company secretary and her team for reaching out to shareholders and making themselves readily accessible to them. Kudos to you all. We love you. Thank you, and God bless the company richly for this opportunity. She is deeply appreciative.
Thank you for the love. It's a lot of appreciation, commendations, congratulations, and very few questions, which at this time I would like to invite Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer to respond to those very few questions. Mr. Falade.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thanks to Barrister Adetutu Shiyonbola for the very comprehensive comments that you sent across. We'll just take the commendations as received. Thank you. We are encouraged to continue to do more. So please let me crave your indulgence to speak by exception to the ones that are more of questions. Starting with your points number 2 and number 3, the observation you made around gender balancing, your comments are well noted. And while the static snapshot of the data you read now lends credence to your conclusion, a review over the years will show that we are making significant progress in this line. And I assure that we remain committed to continue to deepen the gender balance that you have observed. I'll go to your point in number 7, where you observed directors' interest in the shares of the company. Just to mention that a good number of those directors that you don't see shares reflected against them are independent non-executive directors who, by reason of their role, are required not to hold shares in order to be able to perform their statutory function as independent. Also to mention that a few of those directors that you also see who don't hold shares are actually nominee directors representing some institutional shareholders. Both in the past and in the present, I've never seen a set of directors that are committed to the cause of a company like the directors that Aradel is blessed with. They go beyond the call of duty at hard times, at odd hours, in very sacrificial way to continue to chaperone the affairs of this company. And I can give comfort and assurance that the non-reflection of shares outside of the 2 technical reasons that I've given do not in any way imply lack of passion and commitment to the cause of the company. To the point number 8, where you remarked on the consolidated and separate statements of financial position, I think the first thing to say is that you are seeing a surge as a consequence of the consolidation effect. If you compare what the receivables are relative to what they were in the prior period, there is a surge, but it's because the base has now been expanded as a result of onboarding and consolidating from the subsidiary companies. And in terms of relativity, it's not at a level that should bring concern, basically because these are payments that are settled in the course of business. The businesses on a standalone basis and as a consolidated generate enough cash to continue to handle the payables and other current liabilities that are reflected in the financials. Let me thank you, Barrister Shinyobola. You've been a constant presence in continuing to remark and through each of our AGMs. And for me, that just reflects the extent to which you are keenly invested in the affairs of the company. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Faladi. And I actually also echo those thanks too. The next item on the agenda is for the members to consider the resolutions being recommended by the Board of Directors for approval by our esteemed members. May I therefore invite the registrars to explain the procedure to be adopted for voting throughout this meeting. Registrars.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will now proceed to explain the procedures for casting your vote using the Coronation Virtual Platform, accessible on your laptops and mobile phones. Esteemed shareholders, please be informed that we have captured a total number of 713 shareholders' votes received by proxy and holding 1,469,233,588 units, representing 33.81% of the issued share capital. In addition to the proxies received, we will be capturing the votes of eligible shareholders who are virtually in attendance at this meeting to arrive at the final voting results. Your votes are configured to represent your shareholding in Aradel Holdings PLC. You have received an email containing your direct link and access to join the meeting. Ensure you accept the privacy policy. Once logged in, a green sign appears at the top right corner of your device to show attendance status. When voting begins, the resolution will automatically pop up on your screen to cast your vote. Once voting session commences, the voting options for, against, and abstain will pop up on your device screen. Please click on the reference button in accordance with your decision. Please note that shareholders can change their vote during the voting period, but once the voting period has ended, the last button you press will be recorded as your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Pursuant to Section 426, subsection 1 of CAMA, the company's articles of association, the company, on the recommendation of the directors, may in general meeting declare dividend for the year in respect of which the accounts are being considered. The directors have so recommended, and I propose the following motion: that a final dividend of 23 naira per ordinary share be paid to members whose names appeared on the register of members as at the close of business on Thursday, the 9th day of July 2026. Can a shareholder please second this motion?
Directors in respect of the financial year ended 31st December 2025.
Can you come again? We didn't hear you very well.
I, Kikelomo Apolabi. Can you hear me now?
Very well, thank you. Go ahead.
I, Kikelomo Apolabi, a shareholder of Aradel, hereby second the motion for the declaration of a final dividend as recommended by the Board of Directors in respect of the financial year ended 31st December 2025.
Thank you. And I'll call on registrars to conduct the voting process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we'll have the resolution on the screen, and the voting period will last for 30 seconds. The timer is on. Please cast your vote according to your decision. On your device, the button for represents yes, and the other button against, and there's an abstain button to guide your decisions. Please cast your vote according to your decisions. Thank you.
So won't we say it's unanimous? Wow.
On your voting devices, there are different voting options: for, against, and abstain.
So
please click on your preference and cast your vote according to your decisions. Thank you. So the voting period has ended, and we have... Okay, the voting period has ended, and we have... sorry, I need to come
total of...
We have 1,100 shareholders who voted in favor of this resolution, and it represents 99.96% in favor of it. And we also record 3 shareholders who voted against the resolution and 3 shareholders who abstained from the resolution, representing 0.03%. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
How many abstentions? Did you have any abstention? No.
We had 3 abstentions.
3.
Yes, representing 0.03%.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. But majority voted in favor, 99.96%.
Thank you for that. So with a total of 1106 votes cast, I hereby declare the resolution carried with 1,100 votes for, 3 votes against, and 3 abstentions.
Absolutely, sir.
Thank you. Before we move to the next item on the agenda, which is the re-election of directors retiring by rotation, I would like to disclose, in accordance with Section 278, subsection 1 of KAMA, that Mr. Afolabi Oladele, Mr. Olushola Adeyo, and Mr. George Osahon are over 70 years of age. And now the next item on the agenda is the re-election of directors retiring by rotation in accordance with Section 285 of KAMA. Considering the fact that I am one of the directors retiring by rotation, I wish to then step down as chairman and hand over the chairmanship position to Mr. Afolabi Oladele, a non-executive director of the company, to conduct this session. Aradel.
I have been informed by the Secretary that Mr. Augustine Olorunshola, Mr. Adegbite Falade, Mr. Adegbola Adeshino, and Ms. Karen Gunter are due to retire by rotation at this meeting in line with the company's Articles of Association and Section 285 of CAMA, and the respective directors have offered themselves for re-election. I hereby call on the respective directors to reconfirm their willingness or otherwise to offer themselves for re-election.
I, Augustine Olorunshola, do humbly offer myself up for re-election.
I, Adegbite Falade, do humbly offer myself up for re-election.
I, Adegbola Adeshino, do humbly offer myself up for re-election.
I, Karen Jane Gunter, do humbly offer myself up for re-election.
Now that each of the directors retiring by rotation has indicated their respective willingness to present themselves for re-election, the resolution for re-election will now be taken individually. I hereby move the motion that Mr. Augustine Olorunshola, being a director retiring by rotation and presenting himself for re-election at this meeting, in accordance with the company's Articles of Association, be and is hereby re-elected as director of the company. Can a shareholder please second this motion?
I, Omobolanle Atobatele, a shareholder of Aradel, hereby state and second the motion for the re-election of the director retiring by rotation, Mr. Augustine Olorunshola, Chairman. Thank you.
I now call on the registrars to conduct the voting process.
Thank you, sir. So we'll proceed with the voting. We have the resolution on the screen and the timer is on. You have 30 seconds to vote. Voting is in progress. On your devices, you have the voting options: for, against, and abstain. You may cast your vote according to your decisions. The voting period has ended, and we have 1,121 shareholders who voted in favor of this resolution, representing 99.33%. And we have 11 shareholders who voted against this resolution, representing 0.01%, and 22 shareholders who abstained from this resolution, representing 0.67%. Thank you.
The voting has now ended with a total of 1,154 votes cast. I hereby declare that the resolution, well, it's not unanimous. With a total of 1,154 votes cast, I hereby declare the resolution carried with 1124 votes cast. I declare the resolution carried with 1124 votes for, 11 votes against, and 22 votes abstentions. Having concluded the voting for the first director, we now proceed to the second director.
sorry, Chairman. The system is running faster than what we are seeing.
Okay.
The voting system is running ahead of what we are seeing.
Madam Registrar, you want to speak to that?
Okay, so the virtual audience, I think there's a slight lag from the connectivity at their end, which is normal. So they will see the activities here a few seconds faster.
So do we need to introduce a few more seconds?
Yeah.
So you leave it on a little bit more. Yes.
So for more context, please, those watching on YouTube, the application will have some seconds lag while you're watching live. So that's why you're observing that the live event is online real time. And of course, there's a slight lag in what you're seeing. Thank you.
Is there an adjustment that can be made to compensate for that?
No, not really. It differs with systems. 60 seconds. Okay, so we'll take it longer. We'll adopt 60 seconds for the voting instead of just 30 seconds.
Thank you, Madam Registrar.
Okay, sir.
Having concluded the voting for the first director, we now proceed to the second director. I hereby move the motion that Mr. Adegbite Falade, being a director retiring by rotation and presenting himself for re-election at this meeting in accordance with the company's article of association, be and is hereby re-elected as director of the company. Can a shareholder please second this motion? There's a hand up, but it's muted. Please unmute yourself and speak. Is it sufficient for the hand that is raised, or? Yes, I think you can. Any shareholder in the house?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I stand to second that motion, please. My name is Bola Akiola, a senior advocate of Nigeria.
Thank
you. A shareholder.
The registrar can now proceed for the voting session.
Thank you, sir. So we'll have the resolution on the screen. And to enable effective participation, we have increased it to 60 seconds. So please, shareholders, you can participate effectively, and you might need to rejoin if you notice that you're out of the meeting. Please sign in again. The voting has commenced. Please cast your vote according to your decisions. The voting is in progress. On your devices, you have the voting options for, against, and abstain. Please cast your vote according to your decisions. Voting is in progress. We have 10 seconds to the end of the voting period. Please cast your vote according to your decisions. The voting period has ended, and we have 1,142 shareholders who voted in favor of this resolution, with a total vote of 1,543,881,968 units. We have 7 shareholders who voted against this resolution, with a total of 2,127 units, and 20 shareholders who abstained from the resolution, with a total of 33,031 units, making it a total participation of 1,169.
With a total of 1169 votes cast, I hereby declare the resolution carried with 1142 votes for, 7 against, and 20 abstentions. We will now proceed to the voting for the re-election of the third director. I hereby move the motion that Mr. Adegbola Adesina, being a director retiring by rotation and presenting himself for re-election at this meeting in accordance with the company's articles of association, be and is hereby re-elected as director of the company. Can a shareholder please second this motion? Thank you.
I am and I second motion.
Thank you. I now call on the registrars to conduct the voting process.
Thank you, sir. We'll have the resolution on display. You may cast your vote according to your decision. You have 60 seconds. Please cast your vote according to your decisions. On your mobile devices, you have the voting options: for, against, and abstain. You may cast your vote according to your decisions. Thank you. We have 30 seconds to the end of the voting period. Voting is still in session. Please cast your vote according to your decisions. Thank you. We have 10 seconds to the end of the voting period. Voting is still in session. On your voting devices, you have various options: for, against, and abstain. The voting period has ended, and we have 1,122 shareholders who voted in favor of this resolution, representing 99.5%. We have 14 shareholders who voted against the resolution, and also 28 shareholders who abstained from this resolution, representing 0.5%. In total, we have 1,164 shareholders who participated. Thank you.
With a total of 1,164 votes cast, I hereby declare the resolution carried with 1,122 votes for, 14 votes against, and 28 abstentions. Okay. Finally, we will now take the voting for the re-election of the fourth director. I hereby move the motion that Ms. Karen Gunter, being a director retiring by rotation and presenting herself for re-election at this meeting, in accordance with the company's articles of association, be and is hereby re-elected as the director of the company. Can a shareholder please second this motion?
Hi, I am Muazza Munir, a shareholder of Aradel, and I second the motion.
Thank you. Now I call on the registrars to conduct the voting process.
Thank you, sir. The resolution is on the screen and the timer is on. You have 60 seconds to cast your vote according to your decisions. On your voting devices, you have various options: for, against, and abstain, please click on your preference in accordance to your decisions. Thank you. Voting is still in progress. We have 30 seconds to the end of the voting period. We have 10 seconds to the end of the voting period. You may cast your votes according to your decisions. Thank you. The voting period has ended, and we have 1,131 shareholders who voted in favor of this resolution, representing 99.66%. We have 12 shareholders who voted against the resolution, representing 0.00001%. And we have 34 shareholders who abstained from this resolution, representing 0.34%. In total, we have 1,177 shareholders. Thank you.
Thank you. With a total of 1,177 votes cast, I hereby declare this resolution carried with 1,131 votes for, 12 votes against, and 14 abstentions. Thank you. My Chairman, back to you. Esteemed shareholders, thank you for your active participation in the voting process. Now that the voting for re-election of directors is over, I hereby hand over chairmanship of the meeting back to the substantive chairman to continue with the proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aradel. Before moving on to the next item, can I just crave your indulgence? There's a hand that has been persistently raised by one of our members. Can I just call on him to ask his questions, then we can respond to it very quickly. Mr. Nona? Right.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
I want to say that for me, I want to take a cue from what the MD said in responding to the question that was sent earlier. But under the law, I'm not prepared to send any question earlier if it's not comfortable for me. But the reason I'm raising the questions I'm raising is in line with what the MD did say. First, the company has a future, and that future he wants us to write with the company. And anybody who wants to ride with any company must be one who is also ready to point the company to areas where he thinks that certain things are not right. So I will start from the level of consistency. First, Aradel annual account is an official document. And it being an official document, there is need for consistency across all that we present in that account. Chairman, I will want to appeal to you because for me, you can't have Augustine in one page and you have Austin in another page and in the same document. And that is not what we should be encouraging. So I'll be hoping that for the future that will be corrected.
Okay.
The second one has to do with the AGM. Two different assets we are giving, and that's probably part of the challenge that we have noticed this meeting today. I'll also be hoping that going forward, I'm not against virtual, I'm not against physical, but let every shareholder have the same assets to the meeting. Otherwise, you'll be disenfranchising some persons in the manner that it shouldn't be. The other aspect that I also think that I should point out has to do with the notice of the meeting, as well as on the proxy page. You will find there it is said that statutory audit committee have election and re-election. No, you don't have re-election in the statutory audit committee. Every shareholder member of the statutory audit committee is elected every year. So let's be mindful of small mistakes of this nature, and then that itself will help going forward. Shinobola had asked the question around shareholders who don't have shares. And I think this would have been solved if we had representative of those indirect holding, those companies also stated, so that this doubt will have been cleared and that question would not have been necessary. The other one I also think that is important, that which has to do with the operation that I want you to talk about and talk around, has to do with our capital management going forward. Anybody looking at these accounts, not immediately taking into cognizance the fact that we have 2.5 acquisition. What we'll be looking at is, our debts is high, our receivable is high, and all of that is high. So it will be important that you speak around that. And the reason I'm asking that we speak around that, so that we can also be on the same page going forward as to what the future of the company is. But talking about the future as well, I want to say that the issue of petroleum refinery, we're doing currently bill 50%, I'm told. What are the inhibitors that will not allow us to beyond 50% in capacity utilization? And then finally, which for me is the most critical of the meeting today, has to do with the exit benefit. I can't understand it. And I'm happy that in the course of this meeting, we did say that one director has stayed for 11 years, another one for more than 11 years. And if you're asking me to approve an exit package, that will mean that one non-executive director will go with 40,500 naira for 10 years after he has earned the director's fee and other benefit for the same 10 years. My interpretation of that would be that you are going to pay people who have not worked. And then that then becomes a challenge for me. I don't mind the issue of the other benefit which has to do with health, because I also think that this is coming in from the experience that some of the directors and non-directors have had around what the approach in Shell is. But this is not the case I think we should be going on here. But let me also say this with due respect. When you then ask that people are paid after they have gone because they were directors, all the directors also did benefit from goodwill by having to be directors of this company. How do they pay us back if we are going to pay them for the work they haven't done going forward? So I'll be pleading so that we also don't set bad precedents in our markets. Because once this gets done, all other companies will then queue up. But the man has stayed there for 40 years, and he asks, I will pay him the salary for 40 years after. I don't think he does, But I'm open to learning, and that's one of the things that has encouraged me to be here today. Is if you tell me any company in Nigeria today who is practicing what you have brought forward in terms of exit benefits, then I begin to understand it. But please don't let us demean the good work that those directors who are exiting have done. The other one that I also think that you probably an oversight, just like there was an oversight in you asking shareholders to ask questions. You have not stated how many years will these benefits will even come to. In the case of the welfare, what's called insurance, you did mention 5 years. But the other one, it was left open. So you're also asking us to sign blank checks, and that itself is dangerous. So those are my major concern. But I'm also hoping that going forward, these results haven't come this late as a result of the major arrangement, acquisition arrangement, that you also be giving clarity as to what becomes the policy for 2026 as regards interim dividend. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Ano. Let me yield the floor to our CEO to take some or all of those questions, and then if there are any more, I can follow up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nonanawu, for your questions. Also, thank you for always showing up and performing your role as a shareholder of notes for our company. First, to state our apologies for any technical hitch-up that led to skipping this part of the event. After having held in-person AGM for a while, I think what we're seeing is a bit of a transition in holding a virtual format. The point you made around the inconsistency in the names of our chairman is well noted. It brings back the memory of when we were dealing with whether a past Senate president was Evan or Evans. So we take notes and we'll do the needful. Also to mention that the matter of seeming different access to shareholders is not an intentional thing. There is a platform through which the registrar has created how access would be. But your points are well noted, and they will be taken into consideration in future editions. Your comment around the nature of the statutory audit committee members' election is noted, that when it comes to statutory audit committee, it's an election and not a re-election. That is well noted. You also spoke to the matter of the shareholders, the directors who don't have shareholding. Just for records, we have 3 independent non-executive shareholders, which by the applicable codes are not expected to either have or not have beyond a certain minimal threshold, in order not to imperil their sense of independence and judgment with respect to the affairs of the company. And the 3 non-independent directors, in no particular order, are Ms. Simon Hart, Mr. Mahmoud Tuko, and engineer Mrs. Noli Akpede. We also have nominee directors on the board. Ms. Karen Jane Gunter is a nominee director representing Petrolin and did not have shareholding. And under the year under review, Mr. Adegbenga Adetoro was nominee director representing Africa Capital Alliance. And that completes the log of those directors who do not have shareholdings in their names. You raised a very valid concern around capital loan management going forward. Just a mere inspection of our books would suggest that we have onboarded significantly higher loan and our debt position has increased. It is factually correct, but when you look at the net debt position of our books in terms of asset and liabilities, it tells a totally different story. For context, each of the subsidiary companies that we have newly acquired required us to onboard their financials when we consolidated. Given the date at which the consolidation happened, which was 31st of December, accounting guidelines could not allow the consolidation of the profit and loss accounting items, and what could be consolidated and reflected subsequently in the financial statements were the balance sheet position. So yes, you would have seen what seemed like a surge in the debt positions, as it were, but the date and the timing of the completion of the transaction did not allow for a reflection of the corresponding profit and loss items that would have put it in better context. And if to give you comfort, these are companies that in themselves on standalone basis are highly cash generative, and the extent of leverage relative to both the balance sheet and the cash they generate is still very much within order. An axis test and scrutiny of our financials indicates that beyond what is existing as loan today, the companies still remain in a strong position with a healthy borrowing base should there be a need for, because this is supported by very steady cash generation. And by the time you would be seeing the 2026 financial statements, you would also be able to see the progress that we have made in paying down the loans and continue to build up reserves that makes this company a going concern. So your comment is well positioned within the remit of the data that you see, but I'd like to give you comfort and assurance that we are not in a perilous or precarious situation with respect to ability to honor our obligations and with respect to our capacity to continue to invest and grow the business. You mentioned and highlighted your concern around the extent of capacity utilization with regards to our refinery. I think the first thing to mention is that the refinery is in a position where it can refine a whole lot more than it's doing. The bottleneck had been feedstock supply, and it's the same bottleneck that both ourselves and every other refiner within the country is grappling with. The government, through the direct intervention of the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, through the direct intervention of the minister being the president of the country, through the direct intervention of the upstream regulator and the midstream and downstream authority regulator, are working out modalities that would allow for increased feedstock to every domestic refiner. It's work in progress, and we're continuously looking at how we could address that. What would be interesting to note is that today the entire feedstock that our refinery uses comes from our own direct field operations. And what we continue to do is to maintain the appropriate balance between how much of that is devoted for national and domestic consumption and how much needs to be the subject of export in order to earn foreign exchange earnings to underpin our foreign exchange obligations, whether they're in the form of payment for goods and services or they're in the form of repayment of facilities we have incurred in running the business. Your next question has to do with the exit package for our retiring directors. And you've identified or spoken to what I would think are three key elements of that construct. The first one, you remarked the number of years in service that our directors who are exiting, and for which we needed this approval. And you are right in remarking about the fact that we have directors today who are exiting after 11 and 14 years respectively. This is more of a circumstantial issue rather than a permanent default. It be pleased you to know that as at the time when we became listed on the NGX last year, or in 2024, one of the matters for which we had a clear understanding with the NGX was the recognition that we had directors who, as at then, exceeded or gotten to the end of the normal tenure of 9 years. However, recognizing the need for an orderly transition, since most of the directors fell within that category, we obtained special dispensation for orderly transition and management of seemingly institutional memory that would be lost if we had a wholesale change of guard, to then have a few of the directors who, as at that time, would normally have rotated off to stay, so that the affairs of the company can continue apace in very steady hands. And so we've now found ourselves in a situation that, as we are now approaching that terminal point, on one hand, we have directors who have served, and like I said, will continue to serve in very extraordinary and sacrificial ways. And the company and its board, in its collective wisdom, believe that it is only fitting and proper that this batch of exiting directors be given the right acknowledgement of the years that they have put in. In the same vein, it is also the decision of the board that going forward, we will not find ourselves in this situation, which then means that every other director will be guided by the term limit as imposed in the appropriate corporate governance codes, which as of today is in the order of 9 years cumulatively. So this is a special one-off, and is one where our conviction is that nothing given to compensate or to thank the directors who, against their own wishes, but for the necessity of the company, have stayed longer, will be too much in saying thank you to them. And speaking to the magnitude for which you have asked the question, I make bold to say that within our sector of the industry, the amounts so considered are in line with what obtains. And I would rather say, even compared to some who are direct comparator companies, it's a conservative number. We have seen the stewardship of these directors transform the fortunes of this company significantly. 5 years ago, the market cap of this company was barely $200 million. As of today, it's over $4 billion. And this company has now become the largest market cap energy company on the NGX. Significantly, that is down to the astute and strategic leadership of these directors who continue to work hard. And we strongly believe that both the financials of the company and the character of the company is worthy to say thank you to them in this wise. You did mention the issue of the benefits, and you have asked to clarify how many years, and please forgive me, my memory does not serve me right to remember the final details of what is in the benefits to be able to respond in a very factual way. But on that, I probably would want to stand back and call a friend.
Again, thank you, Mr. Arno, and thank you so much, Mr. Faraday, for taking us through this very clearly. So let's move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the ratification of the appointment of 4 non-executive directors of our company. The profile of the directors to be ratified can be found on pages 191 and 192 of the annual report and notes to the AGM notice and proxy form. The resolution approving the ratification of the appointment of these non-executive directors shall be taken on individual basis. Accordingly, I hereby move the motion for the ratification of the first director as follows. That the appointment of Mr. Olushola Adeyo as a non-executive director of the company be and is hereby ratified by the members. Can a shareholder please second this motion?
Hi, Wisdom Ojo, a shareholder of Aradel, hereby second the motion. Thank you.
Who is that? Sorry, can you be a bit more audible?
Hi, Wisdom Ojo, a shareholder of Aradel, hereby second the motion. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Wisdom Ojo. And I call on the registrars to conduct the voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we have the resolution on the screen and the timer is on. You may cast your vote according to your decisions. On your voting devices, you have various voting options: for, against, and abstain. Please click in line with your decisions. Thank you. We have 30 seconds to the end of the voting period. Voting is still in session. Please cast your vote according to your decisions. On your voting devices, you have the options for, against, and abstain. Please click in line with your decisions. Thank you. We have 10 seconds to the end of the voting period. Voting is still in session. Please cast your vote according to your decisions. Thank you. The voting period has ended, and we have 1,032 shareholders holding a total of 1,505,971,780 units, representing 99.5%. And we have 7 shareholders who voted against this resolution, with a total of 11,144 units. And we have 23 shareholders who abstained from this resolution, with a total holding of 7,607,906 units, representing 0.5%. In total, we have 1,062 shareholders who participated. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So with a total of 1,062 votes cast, I hereby declare the resolution carried with 1,032 votes for, 7 against, and 23 abstentions. And having ratified that appointment of the first director, we now move to ratify the appointment of the second director. I hereby move the motion that the appointment of Mr. George Osahon as a non-executive director of our company be and is hereby ratified by the members. Can the shareholder please second this motion?
Mr. Tobin Dixon, a shareholder of Aradel, hereby seconds the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tobin. And I'll call on the registrars to conduct the voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll have the resolution on the screen, and the voting period will last for 60 seconds. It has commenced. Please cast your votes according to your decisions. Voting is still in progress. We have 40 seconds to the end of the voting period. On your voting devices, you have the voting options: for, against, and abstain. Please click in line with your decisions. Thank you. We have 20 seconds to the end of the voting period. Voting is still in session. Please cast your votes according to your decisions. The voting period has ended, and we have 1,048 shareholders representing 1,516,241,574 units, representing 99.73%, who voted in favor of this resolution. And we have 7 shareholders with a total of 23,348 units who voted against the resolution. And we have here 31 shareholders with a total of 4,113,053 units, representing 0.27%, who abstained from this resolution. In total, we have 1,086 shareholders who participated. Thank you.
Again, thank you so very much. So with that total of 1,086 votes cast, I hereby declare the resolution carried with 1,048 votes for, 7 votes against, and 31 abstentions. Thank you, esteemed shareholders, for your vote ratifying the appointment of our second director. We now move to ratify the appointment of the third director. And I hereby move the motion that the appointment of Mr. Mahmoud Tukur as an independent non-executive director of the company be and is hereby ratified by the members. Can a shareholder please second this motion?
I will use a shareholder of Aradel hereby second this motion.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so very much. And I'll call on the registrars to conduct the voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The resolution is on the screen, and the voting session will last for 60 seconds. It has commenced. Please cast your votes according to your decisions. On your voting devices, you have various voting options: for, against, and abstain. Please click on your preference in accordance to your decisions. Thank you. Voting is still in session. You may cast your votes according to your decisions. On your voting devices, you have various options. You have the voting options for, against, and abstain. Please click according to your decisions. Thank you. We have 10 seconds to the end of the voting period. Voting is still in session. You may cast your votes according to your decisions. The voting period has ended, and we have 1,034 shareholders who voted in favor of this resolution, representing 99.43%, with a total of 1,512,375,736 units. And we have 12 shareholders who voted against this resolution, with a total holding of 3,285,141 units, representing 0.22%. And we have 36 shareholders who abstained from this resolution, with a total holding of 5,300,000 318,115 units, representing 0.35%. In total, we have 1,082 shareholders who participated. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Registrar. Again, with a total of 1,082 votes cast, I hereby declare the resolution carried with 1,034 votes for, 12 votes against, and 36 abstentions. And I'd like to again thank esteemed shareholders for this. And finally, let's move to ratify the appointment of our fourth director. I hereby move the motion that the appointment of Mrs. Noli Akpede as an independent non-executive director of the company be and is hereby ratified by the members. Can a shareholder please second this motion?
Okay. I, Muazzam Munir, a shareholder of Aradel, hereby second the motion.
Thank you very much. I now call on the registrars to conduct the voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have the resolution on the screen and the timer is on. You may cast your votes according to your decisions. On your voting devices, you have voting options: for, against, and abstain. Please cast according to your preference. Thank you. Voting is still in session. You may cast your vote according to your decisions. On your voting devices, you have various voting options: for, against, and abstain. Please cast your vote according to your decisions. Thank you.
So why was it marked? Okay.
Voting is still in session. Please cast your votes according to your decisions. The voting period has ended, and we have 835 shareholders who voted in favor of this resolution, representing a total holding of 1,499,780,805 units, and 5 shareholders who voted against this resolution with a total holding of 1,032 units, and we have 8 shareholders who abstained from this resolution with a total of 15,631 units. In all, we have 848 shareholders who participated. Thank you, sir.
Again, thank you so very much. I hereby declare the resolution carried with 835 votes for, 5 votes against, and 8 abstentions. Thank you, esteemed shareholders. The next item on the agenda is the appointment of the auditors. Following the resignation of Deloitte and Touche, having served the company for 7 years, the board hereby recommends the appointment of KPMG Professional Services as external auditors of the company for the accounting year ending 31st December 2026. The former has indicated his willingness to render service to the company. Accordingly, I hereby move the motion that the audit firm of KPMG Professional Services be and is hereby appointed as the company's external auditors for the financial year ending 31st December 2026. Can a shareholder please second this motion?
I, Warala Yusuf, with a shareholder of Aradel Holdings.
Thank you. And I call on the registrars to conduct the voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll have the resolution on the screen now, and the timer is on. On your voting devices, you have the option voting. Please click on it, and it will pop up the options for your vote, which is made up of for, against, and abstain. You may cast your vote according to your decisions. Thank you. Voting is in progress. On your various devices, you have the option voting. Please click on it and it will pop up the options to cast your vote accordingly. Thank you.
Okay.
Voting is still in progress. On your voting devices, you have the option tagged voting. Click on it and it will give you the options to cast your vote accordingly. Thank you. The voting period has ended and we have 1,032 shareholders who voted in favor of this resolution, representing 99.91% with a total of 1,511,158,534 units. And we have 13 shareholders who voted against this resolution with a total of 27,773 units. And we have 17 shareholders who abstained from this resolution with a total of 1,392,680 units. In total, we have 1,062 shareholders who participated. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And so with a total of 1,062 votes cast, I hereby declare the resolution carried with 1,032 votes for, 13 votes against, and 17 abstentions. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is for the directors to determine the remuneration of the auditors. And I hereby move this motion that the directors be and are hereby authorized to determine the remuneration of the auditors for the accounting year ending 31st December 2026. Can a shareholder please second this motion?
I, Ikeloma Folabi, a shareholder of Aradel, hereby second the motion.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. I now call on the registrars to conduct the voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have the resolution on the screen and the timer is on. It will last for 60 seconds. You may cast your vote according to your decisions. On your voting devices, please click on the voting option and it will pop up for, against, and abstain to guide your decisions. Thank you.
Yeah.
We have 30 seconds to the end of the voting period. You may cast your vote according to your decisions. On your voting devices, you have the option voting. Click on it and it will pop up options for you to cast according to your decisions. Thank you. We have 10 seconds to the end of the voting period. Voting is still in session. On your voting devices, you have the options for, against, and abstain. Please cast your vote according to your decisions. Thank you. The voting period has ended, and we have 1,031 shareholders who voted in favor of this resolution, representing 99.89% with a total of 1,504,396,872 units. And we have 17 shareholders who voted against this resolution with a total of 1,598,221 units, representing 0.11%. And we have 16 shareholders who abstained from this resolution with a total of 26,475 units. In all, we have a total of 1,064 shareholders who participated on this resolution. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, with that total of 1,064 votes cast, I hereby declare the resolution carried with 1,031 votes for, 17 votes against, and 16 abstentions. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the membership of the Audit Committee. And before taking that, I use this opportunity to really thank the members of the Audit Committee for the 2025 financial year for a job well done. The Company Secretary has advised that by virtue of Section 404 of CAMA, membership of the Audit Committee is made up of 2 non-executive directors and 3 representatives of shareholders. For the 2026 financial year, the Board of Directors has resolved to appoint Mr. Afolabi Oladele and Ms. Patricia Simon Hart as the directors on the Audit Committee. I'm further informed by the Company Secretary that nominations were received from shareholders to elect and even re-elect the following nominees as shareholders' representatives on the Audit Committee. Number 1 is, and in no particular order, Olatunji Bamidele. Number 2, Adebayo Oluwafemi Abayomi. Number 3, Eddie Efekoha. Number 4, Chief Gola Akinola. And number 5, Olufemi Akinsanya. These nominations were received prior to the notice of the AGM being circulated. And by virtue of Section 404, subsection 6 of CAMA, nominations for membership of the Statutory Audit Committee must be received at least 21 days before the AGM. Consequently, other nominations received after the notice had been issued, which could therefore not be listed in the proxy form, but still within the timeline provided by CAMA, are quite a few names. Adu Ayodele, Oyedapo Julius Abiodun, Badero Michael Kayode, Olusanya Oluremi Olakunle, Erin Folami Oladele Balogun Gafar, Aderenle Sulaimon Babatunde, Olugbosun Ariyo Ayo, David Isaac Olabanji, and David Abimbola Solomon. The Company Secretary confirms that the nominations of all the candidates above were received at least 21 days before this meeting, as required by Section 404, subsection 6 of CAMA, and that all nominees have indicated their willingness to serve in that capacity. I'm also informed by the Company Secretary that the underlisted nominations were invalidated for various reasons, which I'll mention, because they were not accompanied by resumes showing the personal details, academic as well as professional qualifications of the nominees. I think 6 of them, or 8 actually, had no resumes. Number 1 is Chuks Osadinizu, Nwosu Kenneth, Vincent Christie Otuo Sorochuku, that's number 3. Number 4 is Ibekwe Robert. Number 5 is Leo Eme Ibe. Number 6 is Wahab Ajani. Number 7, Baka Juliet Ebechuku. And number 8, Akim Batula. The following actually didn't even have the nominees subsequently. All these nominees I'm going to list now, they actually subsequently formally withdrew their, from the elections. Yusuf Sulaiman, Ali Shehu Ibrahim, Odunewu Kudirat Morenike, Remi Yusuf, Adeagbo Ademola Ezekiel, Adeagbo Olabisi Grace, Shobande Olushola Comfort, Victor Oluwashina Adeagbo, Sani Abdul Kadri Idou, Komolafe Abimbola Adetokunbo, Surakat Zimido, Esther Oluwapelumi Adeagbo, and Yusuf Salau, and last but not the least, Christiana Oluwafikayomi Adeagbo. With a membership limit of 3 and with 14 valid nominations received, each shareholder may only vote 3 nominees. The 3 nominees with the most votes of these persons nominated to be members of the Statutory Audit Committee as shown above will be elected or re-elected, as the case may be, as shareholders' representatives on the Statutory Audit Committee. I now call on the registrars to conduct the voting session and announce the results of the votes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay. So I'll just run through the guide for the Statutory Audit Committee voting. The Statutory Audit Committee voting will be done through electronic count. Shareholders can vote for only 3 candidates out of the 14 shareholders nominated for this meeting. Your voting device has been configured accordingly to prevent duplicate voting. Once you have voted for 3 candidates, A, D, and G, for example, you will be unable to vote for any other candidates, as any further votes will not register. Please ensure to vote only for your preferred candidates. Esteemed shareholders, the voting period has now commenced and shall last for 30 seconds or 60 seconds. It should last for 60 seconds. We have the first candidate on the screen. Please cast your votes according to your decision. Mr. Olatunji Bamidele, you may cast your vote according to your decision. Please be reminded that shareholders can only vote for 3 candidates out of the 14 shareholders nominated. Voting is still in progress. Please cast your votes according to your decisions. The voting period has ended, and we have recorded 211 votes in support of this nominee. We'll move to the next candidate. Mr. Adebayo Oluwafemi Abayomi, the timer is on. You may cast your vote according to your decision. Be reminded that you have only 3 candidates to vote for out of the 14. So please cast your decision in line with your preferred candidates. Thank you. Voting is ongoing. Please cast in line with your preferred candidates. Thank you. We have 20 seconds to the end of the voting period. You may cast your vote in line with your preferred candidates. Thank you. The voting period has ended, and we have recorded 191 votes in favor of this election. We'll move to the next candidate. The next nominee is Eddie Efekwa, and the timer is on. Please cast your votes according to your decisions. Voting is still in session. Remember, you have only 3 options to vote for your preferred candidate out of the 14 nominees. Please cast in line with your preference. Thank you. We have 10 seconds to the end of the voting period. Please cast your vote in line with your preferred candidate. Thank you. The voting period has ended, and we've recorded 200 votes in favor of this resolution, in favor of this candidate. We'll move to the next candidate, Mr. Chief Bola Akinola, and the timer is on. Please cast your votes according to your preference. Thank you. Voting is still in progress. Please cast your votes according to your decisions. Thank you. The voting period has ended, and we have 112 votes in favor of this candidate. We'll move to the next candidate. The timer is on, and the vote is in progress. Voting is still essential. Please cast your votes according to your decisions. On your voting device, you have the option to vote for this candidate. Thank you. The voting period has ended, and we have 91 votes. We'll move to the next candidate. Please cast your votes according to your decision. Thank you. Next candidate is Adu Ayodele, and the timer is on. Voting is a session. Voting is ongoing. Please cast your votes according to your decision. Thank you. We have 48 votes in favor of that candidate. We move to the next candidate, Mr. Yedakpo Julius Abiodun. Please cast your votes according to your decision. The timer is on. Voting is still in progress. You may cast your votes according to your preference. Voting is ongoing. The timer is still on. We have 10 seconds to the end of the voting period. The voting has ended, and we've recorded 46 votes in favor of this candidate. We have the next candidate on the screen, Badero Michael Kayode. Timer is on, and voting is in session. Please cast your vote according to your decisions. We have 30 seconds to the end of the voting period. The voting is still in session. Voting is still in session. We have 10 seconds to the end of the voting period. The voting period has ended, and we move to the next candidate, Mr. Lusoya Oluremi Olukunle, and the timer is on. Please cast your vote according to your decision. Thank you. We have 30 seconds to end of the voting session. Voting is still in progress. Please cast according to your decision. We have 10 seconds to the end of the voting period. Please cast your votes according to your decisions. Thank you. The voting period has ended, and we have 30 votes in favor of those candidates. We'll move to the next candidate. The timer is on. You may cast your vote according to your decision. The voting is in session. We have 30 seconds to the end of the voting period. Voting is still in progress. We have 10 seconds to the end of the voting session. Thank you. Voting is still in progress. Please cast your vote according to your decisions. Thank you. We have 30 seconds to the end of the voting period. We have 10 seconds to the end of the voting session. Please cast your votes according to your preference. Thank you. We'll move to the next candidate, and that's the timer is on. You may cast your votes according to your decision. Voting is ongoing. Please cast your votes according to your preference. We have 20 seconds to the end of the voting session. Thank you. We have 5 seconds to the end of the voting period. Please cast your vote according to your decisions. The voting period has ended, and we have recorded 29 counts. I will move to the next candidate. On your voting devices, you have the option voting. Click on it so it will give you the options to cast your votes according to your decisions. The timer is on. Please cast your votes according to your decisions. Thank you. Voting is still in progress. We have 20 seconds to the end of the voting period. On your voting devices, you have the button tagged voting. Click on it, and it will give you the voting options to cast your vote according to your preference. Thank you. The voting period has ended, and we move to the next candidate, Mr. David Abimbola Solomon. You may cast your vote according to your preference. The timer is on. Please cast your vote according to your preference. Voting is still in progress. We have 30 seconds to the end of this voting session. Please cast your votes according to your decisions. On your voting devices, we have the button voting. Click on it, and it will give you the options to cast your votes. Thank you. For Mr. Adebayo Oluwafemi Abayomi, the live count was 195. We had a total proxy of 45, which brought his total to 240. We also have Eddie Efikoha, 200 live counts with a proxy of 301. We have a total of 501. From Chief Bola Akinola, the live count was 115. We recorded proxy of 311. We have a total of 426. Mr. Olufemi Akinsoye, his count was 95. We received a proxy of 313. We have a total of 408. Sixth is Mr. Adu Ayodele. His live count was 49. These names were not published. Their nomination was not received before the publication, so there was no proxy for them. Ayodakpo Julius Abiodun. His live count is 49. Badero Michael Kayode, a total of 39. Olusoya Oluremi Olukunle, a total vote of 30. Erifolami Oladele Balogun Gafar, a total vote of 40. Aderile Suleiman Babatunde, a total vote of 36. Olubusun Ariyo Ayo, a total vote of 30. And David Isaac Olabanji, a total vote of 31. And David Abimbola Solomon, a total vote of 24. From the total here, I think I'll hand over to the chairman. From the total here, we have the highest votes of 501 voted in favor of Eddie Fekoha, 426 voted in favor of Chief Bola Akinola, 408 voted in favor of Olufemi Akinsoye, and we have others 200, and in that ascending highest order, we have 256 voted in favor of Olatunji Bamidele, 240 votes in favor of Adebayo Oluwafemi Abayomi, and then we have a tie of 49 in favor of Adu Ayodele and Oyedapo Julius Abiodun. We have a count of 39 in favor of Badero Michael Kayode. We have we have a count of 40 for Erifolami Oladele Balogun Gafar. We have a count of 36 for Aderile Suleiman Babatunde. And then we have another tie of 30 counts for Olusoya Oluremi Olukunle and Olubosun Ariyo Ayo. And then we have a count of 31 for David Isaac Olabanji, and lastly we have the count of 24 for David Abimbola Solomon. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Please give us voice. Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you so very much for your participation, very active one, as well as your patience in getting the results through this very high-tech process. And following the results as displayed on the screen, the elected or re-elected representatives of shareholders and directors in the Statutory Audit Committee are as follows. Number 1, Mr. Eddie Efekoha. Number 2, Chief Bola Akinola. And number 3, on Mr. Femi Akinsoye. The directors representing the board will be Mr. Afolabi Oladele and Ms. Patricia Hart, respectfully. So this is the committee. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to now Especially thank you again for your active participation in this voting process. We have concluded the ordinary business aspect of this meeting, and we will now proceed to the special business section that requires special resolutions. The item here relates to the approval of the non-executive director severance pay. The approval of this proposal requires 75% of the total votes cast in order for the resolution to be successfully carried. So the next item, like I said on the agenda, is the approval of the severance benefits for non-executive directors retiring from the board of the company, inclusive of the non-executive directors who retired during 2025 calendar year. This approval requires two resolutions. The first resolution relates to the severance package for the board's chairman, while the second relates to the severance package for all other non-executive directors. I crave the indulgence of the shareholders to take both as a single resolution, and that of the other non-executive directors' severance package and annual medical insurance as a single resolution, respectfully. So we'll now take the resolutions appropriately. I hereby move the motion that the severance package for the chairman upon retirement shall consist of the chairman's annual fee at the time of exit, presently the sum of 68,750 thousand per annum, multiplied by the number of years served on the board. Continued medical insurance cover for a maximum period of 5 years after retirement, subject to an annual limit of $16,700 per annum. B, the severance package for all the non-executive directors upon retirement shall consist of an annual fee at the time of exit, presently the sum of $40,500 per annum, multiplied by the number of years served on the board, and continued medical insurance cover for a maximum period of 5 years after retirement, subject to an annual limit in the sum of $14,500 per annum. Can a shareholder please second this motion?
My name is Kikelomo Afolabi. I'm a shareholder of
You're
Aradel.
muted, Madam Kike. If you just unmute yourself.
From here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Thank you.
Okay. My name is Kikelomo Afolabi. I'm a shareholder of Aradel. I second the motion.
Thank you. I now call on the registrars to conduct the voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll have the resolution on the screen and the timer is on. The voting session will last for 60 seconds. Please cast your vote according to your decisions on your voting device. Click on the button tagged voting. It will give you options for, against, and abstain. Please cast your vote according to your decisions. Thank you. Voting is in progress. We have 30 seconds to the end of the voting period. You may cast your vote according to your decisions. On your voting device, there's a button tagged voting. Click on it and it will give you the options for, against, and abstain. Thank you. We have 10 seconds to the end of the voting period. Voting is still in progress. Please cast your vote according to your decisions. Thank you. The voting period has ended, and we have a total of 802 votes who voted 81.21% in favor of the special resolution, and we have 25 shareholders with a total of 1.28% votes against the resolution, and we have 22 shareholders who abstained from this resolution, representing 17.51%. In all, we have a total cast of 849 votes from the shareholders. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. The voting has now ended, and as was displayed, with a total of 849 votes cast, I hereby declare the resolution carried with 802 votes for, 25 against, and 22 abstentions. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the business of the general meeting. Thank you very much, distinguished shareholders, for your attendance and your active participation at this meeting. I hereby declare that the 31st Annual General Meeting of the Aradel Holdings Plc be formally brought to a close. And may I call on our own Mahmoud Tukur to please say a closing prayer, after which we'll have a national item.
Let us pray. We pray to Almighty God. We thank Him for bringing us here safely. We thank Him for the shareholders, the board, and management of Aradel PLC. We thank Him for blessing our company. We're grateful for the transformational journey that our company has started on. We pray for His benevolence and guiding hand and blessings as we continue into the future. We thank Him for bringing everybody here safely, and we pray for everybody's safe return home. Amen.
Amen. Amen. National anthem, please.